Welcome to the Preeminence Podcast. I am your host, Matthew J. Peters, founder of Ascend. Be sure to grab your ultimate guide to preeminence at preeminence.tv. Today we're talking about life as a contortionist. So stay tuned, listen up, and get ready to take a focused action on your message, mission, and presence to create accelerated results starting right now. I gotta admit, when I was a kid growing up, I watched a lot of TV. I mean, it was every night, come home from school, I would watch probably 2 hours of TV, have dinner, and then I'd be with my family and watch more TV. And I remember one show in particular was That's Incredible. It was about the same time in the 1980s that Ripley's Believe It or Not came out. And there was this one episode of That's Incredible. I still remember, imagine this is 1982, 1983, somewhere in there. And I remember they had this guy on, I believe he was a yogi or he's an actor acting as a yogi or something. And he was a contortionist. And one of the things he did was he had like a loincloth on and he had a white turban on. And they brought out this white plexiglass box. They opened it up, tiny box. And the guy stood inside it and he started moving his body around in different ways. And he was able to get his entire body in this plexiglass box, and they closed the top on it, and they were showing that he could get into this very tiny box. And I remember at the time, my mom didn't like us watching it. She thought it was either grotesque or she thought it was too weird for us or something. It was just a weird show in general. But, I just looked at that, and I thought that was very odd. And then I was just driving yesterday, and that just came into my mind. Life as a contortionist, someone who is able to manipulate their body in such a way that they can move it in uncomfortable ways to fit somewhere, to get into something, or to hold a position that's not a standard position that we're designed for. And I really think back to that episode back in the 1980s. This man, we have this white plexiglass box. And he has to fit himself in it so everyone can see that he's fitting inside this box. I want you to think about that for a moment, because you and I are contortionists. We're living our lives as contortionists. It's the systems all around us. You have to get good grades in school, go to college. What do you do after college? You get married. What do you do after you get married? You have children. You get the nice house, you upgrade your house, you send your kids to the best school, go on great vacations, right? Send your kids to a good college just like you and repeat the process over until at some point you are able to retire, you're graduating from your working life, and you have a few years, get to enjoy what? You taught your kids to have children after they got married too, right? Then you see your grandchildren, and then you die. That is a box. That's that white plexiglass box that everybody's telling you need to live in. Or another plexiglass box is working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock or 9 to 5 or whatever it is. That's another plexiglass box that you're contorting yourself into to live into that system. Think about all those other systems. The paycheck, the bank account, going to a church, going to the same church your parents went to, practicing the same religion, your political beliefs. You really believe everything that the candidate that you supported, you really believe everything that they say? You believe the media? You believe that they don't have an agenda for you? You believe that there's a system called the news and you can trust that news? All these systems, you're playing to be a part of these little tribes so you fit in. And you're so afraid to be outside that box, to stand outside the plexiglass box because you don't have the walls to keep you comfortable. And in that discomfort, you actually will find your freedom. You see, you look kind of ridiculous in this plexiglass box, but everybody's expecting you to fit into it. But that's not your natural state. Your natural state is being 100% yourself, and that falls outside of almost every system. The systems that you're in right now have been projected upon you. You've been told time and time again. It's been reinforced through the media, through your parenting, through your your church, your school, they've all trained you to fit into these systems and to fit into these tribes, to be accepted. If you're not part of the tribe, you're kicked out of the tribe, in times past, you may die. You may be all alone by yourself out in the wilderness and you won't survive. We're not living that time anymore. And it's so hard for us to look at somebody and not judge them because we've been told for years and years of our life that type of person is wrong. This person is doing the right thing. And we've taken that all throughout not only our personal life, but our relationships, our marriage. If we're heterosexual or homosexual or bisexual, what is right, what is wrong? If we're supposed to be married, if we're supposed to have kids, if we're supposed to send our kids to school, or what about unschooling? What about sending them to college? Do they need to go to college? How do you raise your children? All these things, we're looking outside of ourselves for people to tell us what's right, for people to tell us what's acceptable. This world has lost generations. This world has literally like 100 years, a century lost because of all these things that we feel like we're supposed to play into. And I'm happy to hear that more and more people are busting out of that plexiglass box. They're refusing to be the contortionist to fit everybody's mold for them. They're okay with being outside of the box. They're okay with being outside of the tribe. They know they can survive. They know they don't need social media likes for them to be successful. They know they don't have to have so many zeros behind their bank account to be a real person, to be acknowledged as someone with value. Your action step on your path to preeminence is to make your own path. When you hear me or anybody else telling you what you should be doing in business, I don't care if they have a $10 million or $100 million company, what you should be doing in your marketing, I'll tell you right now, they're doing best guesses. They're telling you what has worked, best case scenario for either them or one of their clients or a few of their clients in times past in that category, with that audience, that demographic, that product, that service. Do you understand? Everybody's trying to fit into boxes. They're trying to fit into these systems. Life doesn't have boxes. You don't find boxes, little boxes with packets of lifestyle. You don't find packets of education out in the real world. What you see is it's messy. There are no boundaries. We get to choose our own adventure. But when we allow people to project upon us, here's what is right, here's what is wrong, we fit into these systems, these like bubbles, and we become part of this little network of bubbles. We never leave it. We never find out what we're really capable of, what we really were coming here to do, what we choose to do ourselves. So your action step is to really start exploring more outside of the systems, outside of the boxes. And this can also go for going along with the crowd. Hey, everybody's doing nootropics. I'm going to do nootropics. Hey, everybody's doing ayahuasca journeys. Or everybody's going to Burning Man. Let's all go to Burning Man so we can all be different together. Literally, that is a system. Those are boxes too. What is your life like when you explore outside of the boundaries of the village? There may be lions out there. There may be another paradise you don't even know exists yet because you have never ventured outside the tribe, outside the village limits. Go outside the boundaries. Don't follow anybody else's path. If over the last 90 some episodes of this, if you got some things that helped you along to find yourself in your journey and your growth, then take that for what it's worth. Take that value and do something with it. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I have to tell you, every time I'm listening to these podcasts, I listen to it in the morning the next day. And what I find time after time is that when I'm listening to it, the message I'm giving you is for me. Time after time, day after day, week after week, those messages that I'm giving you in this podcast are for me. And I pray, I hope, and I trust that something in here is going to resonate with you and you can do something with it. That is what I have to give you today as something that may inspire you to step outside the boundaries today, to do something different, to do something new, to do something no one in your family has done before, to do something, to ask the tough questions in your church, to step outside your church, to find your own way, because that is how innovation happens, is finding your own way. You don't innovate by following people. You don't innovate by copying me or anybody else. The future belongs to those who innovate and step outside the boundaries. And the 99.9% of everyone else wants to be a follower because they're too afraid to step outside the boundaries of the village. They don't want to explore out there. It's dangerous, so they think. It's dangerous staying in the tribe. It's dangerous repeating those patterns of your family, our national history, your family history of generations and generations that you've been taught. They were taught by someone who was guessing, who they're teaching something that no longer applies today. So many of the things you're learning today in school, in your church, in the books that you're reading are no longer applicable. We need to go new places. I want you to explore more. Your action step this week is to start exploring more. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. I look forward to hearing your comments. Please tell me what you think of this. Talk to you later. This daily podcast is all about you becoming the preeminent voice in your marketplace. So take the consistent and necessary action each and every day on what you've learned over the last few minutes. When, not if, when you're ready to take your business, your organization, your name, your brand, and your commitment to the level of preeminence, head on over to preeminence.tv where you can download your own copy of the Ultimate Guide to Preeminence. Enroll in the Elevation program and join us on one of our next live events. If you're not subscribed, simply visit iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play right now and click subscribe. Until tomorrow, make today and each and every day count towards creating preeminence in your space and a legacy that matters.